Got two breaking stories. One, shocking. Mexican man cleared in sexual assault by judge, and you'll never guess why. Believe me, you're going to be freaking shocked. And Trump's plan to end gun violence summed up by one perfect photo. It says it all. Let's get right into this one first. A judge in Mexico has let a rich young man go free after kidnapping and sexually assaulting a schoolgirl, all because the man said he did not enjoy himself. From The Guardian, a Mexican judge has freed a wealthy young man accused of abducting and sexually assaulting a schoolgirl on the grounds that the perpetrator did not enjoy himself. Mexican rape victim reveals details of case plagued by privilege and impunity. Diego Cruz, 21, was one of the four men from prominent families in the coastal state of Veracruz who were nicknamed Los Porquis on social media after they were accused of seizing a classmate from their elite private school as she left a New Year's party on January 1st, 2015. In a ruling which made public on Monday, Judge Ana Gonzalez found that although Cruz was accused of touching the victim's breasts and penetrating her with his fingers, he had not acted without carnal intent, and so was not guilty of assault. Gonzalez also found that although the victim, who was 17 at the time, was forced into the car of one of the alleged attackers, she was never helpless. Two of the other three suspects are accused of penetrating the victim. They all did. And there was four of them, and she was helpless. This judge needs to be arrested and relieved of duty. This is happening in Mexico, I think, though, okay? In Mexico. The release of Cruz, who had fled to Spain, was extradited back to Mexico, has prompted outrage among human rights activists and marked as a new low point in the case that has reinforced the perception that those with money and political connections are above the law. Sound familiar, Hillary? He sexually touched her, but because he didn't enjoy it, it's not sexual abuse? That's crazy. Since there was no pleasure in the act, it was intended to cause humiliation. They were touching her. They were bothering her. So the judge, if the intention wasn't pleasure, it isn't sexual assault, said Vela, who works in the Legal Studies Department at the Center for Teaching and Research in Economics. There is no disputing the facts. It is not some crazy woman saying this. This is coming from the judge's mouth. And he's saying that if they touch you against your will, it might not be abuse. The case of Los Porquis has provoked widespread indignation in Mexico, not least because it took place on the coastal state of Veracruz, which over recent months has become to symbolize the failure of the Mexican state to guarantee even a semblance of rule of law. You got to get your act together. And then Trump's plan to end gun violence summed up with one perfect photo. We have said 1,000 times, gun control laws only hurt the good guys because bad guys will always find a way to get weapons, and it will not be through legal channels either. Maryland banned the manufacturing and selling of high-capacity magazines back in 2013. In 2017, the use of these magazines by criminals is at an all-time high, via Breitbart reports. The only way to truly deal with this problem is for patriotic Americans to arm themselves and fight back. This is a tired theme, but no matter how much we tell liberals about it, they simply do not comprehend it. They use every attack or murder as an excuse against selling weapons, yet they seem to neglect that in most cases the guns were obtained illegally, meaning gun laws would not impact these crimes at all. The reality is that we simply need to enforce existing gun laws already in place. If we do that, bad guys will start to have their guns taken away, and then when they try to use them, we the people will be armed with weapons just as powerful as theirs. In recent times, there have been potential mass shootings averted after a member of the public with the legal carry license stepped in and shot an attacker. This type of behavior needs to be encouraged, not abolished by the authorities. I'm sorry. Thankfully, President Trump is a gun rights supporter, and he will do the utmost sort of thing in this situation. The criminals in Baltimore are using these high-capacity magazines, are trying to inflict as much damage as possible when they use them. The two deadliest years in history were recorded 2015 and 2016, years after the ban was introduced. This makes it clear that the cities are more dangerous when they have stricter gun laws. Baltimore and Detroit crime statistics tell the story every person in this country needs to read. Both are among the toughest in the country for gun laws, yet their murder rates and crime rates involving illegally obtained weapons are amongst the highest in the country. That's telling you everything, folks. Thankfully, now that Obama is out of the White House, we will not see any more crippling gun laws being introduced. It is hoped that the action is taken to change the existing laws to make them more favorable for the gun owner. With the rapid rise of gangs and violence in the country, it is imperative that we can keep ourselves and our families safe. I know one thing, patriots. Liberals who hear two words out of my mouth, if they try to take the Second Amendment right away,